The president of Burkina Faso has made the processing of our agricultural raw materials a strong access for the development of our country. All the observations that have been made in Africa clearly show that the processing of raw materials can contribute greatly to countries' development. It creates wealth, but it also creates jobs for young people and women.
Le plan national de développement économique et social, qui est notre boussole en matière de développement donc pour les quelques années.
The Economic and Social Development Plan, which is our compass in terms of development for the next few years, focuses investment on processing of our agricultural raw materials,
Secteur porteur, créateur donc d'emplois pour les jeunes et pour les femmes.
and supporting promising sectors that create jobs for young people and women. My department, which is in charge of trade, industry and crafts, is implementing actions in these areas.
Dans ce cadre-là, l'ensemble des réflexions a abouti.
In this regard, discussions have led to the conclusion that cotton, which is today's leading agricultural product for export, can in any case further complete one of the weakest links in the sector at the level of the value chain. This link is
Au
processing.
niveau donc de la chaîne des valeurs, ce maillon-là, c'est la transformation. Donc le salon
The SICO International Cotton and Textile Fair therefore enables, as you have noticed, to bring together here in Kédougou all professionals in the sector to deal with issues related to development and marketing in the sector, from cotton production to the marketing of finished and unfinished products, and also to discuss the business environment for investment in cotton processing in Africa in general and in Burkina Faso in particular, and also to look at all the direct or indirect factors that have an influence on the process.
Il y a certainement donc pour la transformation des difficultés.
There are difficulties related certainly to mobilizing funding for processing projects. There are difficulties certainly related to the lack of qualified workforce for processing. There are difficulties also related to the question of technology. I think in such a situation we should be able, with the support at first of political will, to meet these challenges. In particular, since the SICO made it clear that financial resources to fund processing do exist, that opportunities exist to strengthen the capacities of actors in terms of training and in terms of developing human capital, and that means exist to improve the business climate and promote investment. It was only needed to come together through the different panels in order to join our efforts to share experiences to ensure that we complete all the actions. Today, this meeting SICO has clearly shown that bringing added value through the development of processing industries is not so much a problem. At least when we take the example of funding, the problem is rather that few people can manage to obtain funding alone, but once we gain knowledge on how to create synergies, we should be able to do so. This is the answer given by SICO today, and it also helps to strengthen those who already have concrete projects in Burkina Faso and elsewhere to clearly show that there is a general dynamic towards new cotton processes and a general dynamic that today makes it possible to continue to preserve the crafts, the handmade, because it is very important that these niches continue to be preserved alongside industrialization, which is the transition to larger scale processing.
Le passage à l'échelle donc de la transformation.
I don't think I've said anything just to please the public. I said exactly what the public and we actually think. It shows that we are in phase. You know, the fact that people have travelled to Kédougou only proves that they believe in the topic. They believe in the solutions which are being developed here. We have worked together with all the teams to ensure that we are in tune with everyone.
Je voudrais vous assurer que le choix qui a été fait par le
I would like to guarantee that the choice that has been made by the state of Burkina Faso is to ensure that we play our part in the reform process, in the decision-making process to improve the business environment. The next step requires us to work together with all the different actors of the sector, as many of the main actors belong to the private sector. We are supporting the private sector with the reforms we implement, with the promotion of investments through the new investment costs, and with everything that can be made to foster a healthy competition. All these things clearly highlight the choice we have made so the private sector can become the engine of the economy. We are thus confident, especially since the private sector gathered here is convinced too that we must move in this direction. Our role is to support the private sector, to support women and young people, to support every actor so that things can be done in the best way. In terms of risks, there are no particular risks. The work that needs to be done is to remove all the bottlenecks, all the nodes that block progress, to reassure investors by offering them opportunities, by giving them the means so the promotion of investment happens, and to protect investments as well. I think there is no particular risk, especially since the aim is not to set up a state-owned cotton processing company. It is to promote the private sector that carries out processing at this level with strong support from our state and also from other African states. Because the choice today is made, it is there. It is the private sector that is the backbone of the economy, and that is what we are encouraging. The funds to do this are collective. All technical and financial partners who believe in SICO, the private sector who believe in the SICO, and the government who gives itself the necessary means to play its part. I think it is a project led together by all the players in the sector, and we believe there are no other risks than the one we took to organize the SICO and carry out the project. We are organizing the conference to foster the development of integrated cotton chains because we believe that is an important issue to look at. Every country dealing with it, the whole government, every player of the private sector, everyone should be able to benefit from it. What is Burkina? What is Burkina Faso gaining from this? If I should limit myself to this level, yes, we are a country that, as I told you, has an economic and social plan that puts the processing of raw materials at the heart of its development. We have adopted a plan to accelerate education within value chains, targeting 3 of the 10 most important sectors for our country. The first one is the cotton sector, the second one is the livestock and meat sector, and the third one is the materials sector. If we look at all the land in the region, we are the largest cotton producer country in Africa. We are in the process of setting up the first organic cotton processing unit. So we have already started getting involved in processing. So in terms of development related to this sector, we have already started things. So this conference helps to make us stronger. It has given us additional resources. The number of partnerships and people interested in the cotton sector in Burkina Faso is increasing. We are giving the opportunity to all the actors across the sector, to those who produce cotton, to those who want to process cotton, to those who want to buy cotton, and to those who want to make yarn, to join us. Our country is already started on this path, but it will be a joint development because we do not believe at all in working in isolation. We do not want to work in a development where we are closed in on ourselves and then we develop alone. We think it is because we are open to the world. It is because there are North-South cooperations. It is because there are South-South cooperations. It is because the private sector and the public shares a common strategy. It is because we integrate all the producers' associations that will achieve the objective that we have set ourselves. It cannot be done at the expense of Burkina Faso. It will be done, and we will do it together with others. I think that's how it's going to happen. So I was going to say it's not a project developed in isolation because we are part of a globalized world. We are in a world where we use technology from abroad. We are in a world where we are the one producing the raw materials. We are in a world where resources are international, technology travels, and capital has no borders. Everybody involved in this dynamic process must capitalize on synergies and convergences for the development of all. I would like to thank all the actors who make this sector vibrant, who make sure, in any case, that processing, the weak link in the value chain, begins to take off. It would not be possible when you only meet in Koudougou, even though there are 1,000 participants from 25 countries, who are here. It would not be possible to create a new dynamic to engage other interested people if there would not be the media. It would not be possible if people who write books, who cover stories, who disseminate information, who communicate would not be here.
Qui communiquent ne sont pas là.